last game as a Patriot, we lost to the Titans, and I remember sitting on the sideline. They kept handing the ball to Henry on this outside stretch play. Devin McCourty had to keep coming and running the alley and try to get him down, and I'm just watching this train barrel through the line of scrimmage, and I'm feeling sorry for Devin, who's my own teammate, thinking, how can you get in the way of that man?
Competitor, I hate it, because I'm like, we all want that rushing title. And he already got something, you know what I mean? I came second or third a couple times. He already got something, so he can slow down.
And Derrick Henry, the scariest duo in the NFL.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's cheating. I mean, just honestly, from an offensive perspective, it's cheating.
Have you ever seen a back that has taken this many carries and has taken this many hits and is getting stronger and stronger as his career goes on?
But what duo is better, Hurts and Barkley or Lamar and Henry?
I don't think it's hard to play against that guy. And hopefully we see this team again. That's all I'm kind of thinking about.
For one single player to dominate the competition at every level of football he's competed in is a feat in its own right. But when they play running back in the modern day NFL, it almost becomes unbelievable. Derrick Henry has found new life at the age of 30 in Baltimore, standing alone as easily the most physical back in the league with a running style that many have questioned the long-term viability of. And in today's video, we're going to look at 12 different occasions that players, coaches, and even critics that tried to tear down Derrick Henry, and even reveal what Saquon Barkley thinks of Derrick Henry and how now he's proving everyone wrong and becoming an Offensive Player of the Year frontrunner after a rocky start to life as a pro. Now, for beginners, Derrick Henry was one of the hottest prospects in Florida's class of 2013, where he ran for a high school record 12,124 yards. And now, yes, as most recruits do, he went to Alabama, where he was a committee running back for 2 seasons before exploding in 2015 for over 2,200 yards en route to a national championship and a Heisman Trophy, beating out fierce competition from Stanford like Christian McCaffrey. And surprisingly enough, too, despite all the accolades that Derrick Henry had earned while in college, he wasn't considered a first rounder coming out of college. He had taken on a huge workload in college and had little to show in the passing game, which seemed all but a death sentence in the modern NFL, which is a league dominated by pass catching backs now. But in the pre-draft process, legendary Bama head coach Nick Saban came to his defense.
I think people need to embrace Derrick Henry's style. I think that, everybody sort of pigeonholes in the NFL what a running back's supposed to be, what a cornerback's supposed to be, or whatever the position is. But the guy's hard to tackle. He's got great speed. He's long. And regardless of why he's hard to tackle, he's still hard to tackle. And he's very, very productive. And he can do all the other things, whether it's catch the ball, block, or anything else that you'd like for him to do. So if you can just get by the style issue and just look at the production and the kind of person that he is, you're going to really like him being on your team.
And the Tennessee Titans took Saban's advice, selecting Henry 45th overall, still only the second running back to go behind Ezekiel Elliott from that draft. I mean, honestly, it was just a brutal fall for the running back going into the draft. However, the fall was actually kind of justified because once he was in the league, he failed to even register 800 yards in his first 2 seasons in the league. He finally did in year 3 though, when the Titans looked like a much improved side under Mike Bravel before a breakout season in 2019. 1,540 yards was enough to win Derrick Henry his first rushing title, while also getting the Titans to a postseason in a memorable run. Ryan Tannehill was leading the team under center, playing easily the best football of his career, and gave his very complete analysis of his backfield ace.
I think, yeah, and obviously I knew about Derrick since he was at Alabama and coming up here this year, just seeing it in person, I think he's faster than I thought he was. You see his size, that's the first thing you notice is not too many backs his size, playing in the NFL. And then you pair that with his open field abilities, his speed that he can finish off those long runs with. I think was what makes him extremely rare.
And I mean, that rare combination was on full display when he rushed for 377 yards as Tennessee downed the Patriots in New England and then the Ravens in Baltimore. And I mean, like, as crazy as it sounds too, in those 2 playoff games, like, it's crazy that they were both playoff games and against Baltimore and New England, but he was the entire offense in both of those games. He even managed to catch a passing touchdown as well and running in for another to go along with the 64 carries he took in both of those games. I mean, that stretch was considered to be an all-timer, and even Reggie Bush had to say this.
I do think he has Hall of Fame potential.
Wow.
I think he can be, one of the best to ever do it. I mean, look at his size and his speed, what he brings to the game. It's just tough to tackle a guy like that. He could block a defensive end probably by himself. That's how big he is, and that's what you get with him.
I mean, of course, he's the greatest college running back of all time. He's my personal favorite running back of all time. I even have a little autograph down there from him. But I mean, to get high praise from such a guy that is just like so good, that does mean a lot. Like, I mean, to be able to get Hall of Fame shouts in only his second 1,000-yard season shows just how dominant Derrick Henry was on the gridiron while he was emerging as a top talent. And now, yes, though the Titans did happen to lose the following year in the AFC Championship game to just Patrick Mahomes in that insane comeback, Henry showed no signs of slowing down in 2020. He rushed for 2,027 yards, which 1,017 of which came after contact, for 17 touchdowns, which earned him the Offensive Player of the Year award. He was also crowned with his second rushing title as King Henry's historic season put the league on notice.
He was just the 8th player to rush for 2,000 yards, the 8th player. So if that doesn't say anything, you're not top 3, then I don't know what does, if not number 1.
Like, I mean, to be admired by the young talents in the league, it really shows you just how he was the best at his position. But I think a lot of people take for granted how like remarkable this achievement is too, because of just how pass heavy the NFL is now. Like, I mean, the 2,000-yard mark was a triumph of Henry's more power-based running style, deemed too old-fashioned to succeed. Instead, it put him head and shoulders above his peers, a force to be reckoned with, and easily in with the greatest of all time. I mean, even when they asked Darius Leonard, a pretty good linebacker for the Colts, I think he still plays for the Colts, he had to say this about how to stop Derrick Henry.
What's it like trying to tackle Derrick Henry?
Woo! Oh man, it's like okay, I'll put it like this. I'm weighing probably at the time when I face him, I'm probably, I say 218, 220, and then you got a 200, and I ain't gonna give him nothing lower than 260. It's like a big old freight train just running right at you. The crazy part is, like, he has speed, he has power, and he have a nasty stiff arm, so you really don't know exactly how to tackle him.
And then even a 3-time All-Pro defensive end in Myles Garrett had to say this.
I feel like you go low, he can go over you. And you go high, he's going to stiff arm you. And he's big enough to truck you in either position. He's a mismatch.
Are you looking for a new book this football season? BetUS is the answer. They have the fastest and easiest payouts in the industry, along with 24/7 personalized service 365 days a year. Not only that, but they have live wagering on all major games, so if you see something mid-game and want to make a wager on it, you can. And the best part is, you get 10% back on your net losses twice a year. And now look, you guys knew I had to come through with you guys for a promo code, so make sure that you guys are using code YouTube150 for a nice 150% deposit bonus on up to $2,000. That's right, we were doing 125%, but we said screw that, we're giving you guys 150% instead. Again, that is promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus on up to $2,000. Again, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring today's video, but for now, let's hop back into it. Like, I mean, just as he had been in high school and in college, Henry had become completely unstoppable, and his contributions to the Titans offense were certainly not lost on his teammates. Like, to think about it, they had A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry on this team at the same time. And A.J. Brown was way younger than he is now, like the matter of fact, and then they both got rid of him. That's a whole different video for a whole different time. But they had 2 of the like top 5 players at their positions, and they both traded them away. Like, what the hell were the Titans thinking? But I digress, as A.J. Brown had to say this about him.
Oh, he's definitely a tone setter. Everybody knows we're playing against us, we're gonna get the ball to Derrick. Him doing this thing, like I said, they're gonna open up the pass. You know, so when he came out strong like that, it kind of let us know what type of day it was gonna be. You know, he come out starting off hot like that. You know, because usually, you know, he get going, but he really wears people down in like late second half. So when he get going like that, he gives us a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence. So it was speeding up the end.
Like, I mean, I think it's safe to say that A.J. Brown, while they were on the team together, was probably one of the biggest beneficiaries of having Derrick Henry just completely run the ball and open the passing game up with play action. Like, you can't tell me that he had no small part in A.J. Brown racking up over 1,000 receiving yards in both of his first 2 seasons in the league. Like, I mean, Derrick Henry's rushing ability wasn't just entertainment, but it was even more critical in Tennessee's passing game, as he helped open that up over the 8 seasons that he was there. Like, I mean, even legendary head coach Bill Belichick also weighed in on Derrick Henry's role from a game management standpoint.
I think the best thing about Derrick Henry is the fourth quarter. You know, if you can get into a close game with him in the fourth quarter, he wears defenses down, and you know, he's really a tough guy to tackle. You know, once he gets those guys a little bit tired and they're arm tackling, and you know, maybe there aren't quite as many of them there as there were early in the game. he can break those tackles.
And now look, you can't tell me Bill Belichick doesn't know a thing or two. After all, that 2020 wildcard game in Foxborough saw Henry put up 182 yards and a score on 34 carries. The more you feed him, the more Derrick Henry would punish you late in games. The Titans would routinely come out on top in the exact manner that Belichick explained in that clip. And although the team did improve in 2020 and 2021, making the playoffs and even having a first-round bye, they still saw first-round exits in both of those years in the playoffs. Not only that too, but then Henry was injured for the second half of the 2021 season. The Titans went a respectable 6-3 without him. Despite over 1,000 yards and Pro Bowl selections in 2022 and 2023, most NFL GMs, including Rand Carthon and company in Nashville, didn't look kindly upon a 30-year-old running back who wanted top dollar for his services. The harsh reality is that those last 2 years that he was in Tennessee, Derrick Henry was so elite, but the team that he had around him did not match just how good he was. And because of those statistical dips as well, many or just at least a few of his player friends and just even people around the league actually thought that Derrick Henry was beginning to decline. On a 2023 podcast, Christian McCaffrey spoke of his complicated relationship with the greatness of Derrick Henry.
I was pissed off, and I just lost the Heisman to the boy, Derrick Henry. Who's the boy, by the way? I love that guy.
Do you really?
Yeah, I really do.
You're waiting to get yours back.
I want to not like him. I can't. I love his game. I love him. I think he's great.
But then a couple of years ago, when you beat us in Carolina, you're like, that's for you, Derrick.
When one of the best running backs, who's also a great pass catcher and runner in Christian McCaffrey, vouches for Derrick Henry, and then you still manage to let him go in free agency, that has just got to be a tough pill to swallow for any Titans fan or anybody in that organization to see what he's doing now as well. And as we all know too, the running back market is notoriously unforgiving though, with many in the 2024 offseason unsure of where a good landing spot would be for Derrick Henry.
And then we go up to the 30-year-old Derrick Henry. He's over 2,000 touches. Now, most of his are just rush touches, but he's 2,030 touches of the football. Keyshawn, you know and I know, you have only so many hits in one human body.
Well, Derrick Henry's in a different aisle than them because he's 30 years old.
Those same concerns that had hurt his draft stock coming out of Bama were returning to haunt Henry. Either way though, somebody was going to pay that man what he wanted, and he still had something left to give and deserved another legitimate chance at winning a ring. So when he did sign with Baltimore, there was an excitement of course, but also serious concern that the Ravens were overpaying for a washed volume running back. And when they already had one of the most dangerous rushers in the league under center, former Steelers safety Ryan Clark articulated this viewpoint in the offseason.
In reality, having the best running back doesn't make you the best team if you can't do the things around him to win important football games. And we haven't seen that from Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and we haven't seen that from a team that Derrick Henry was on. And this is when he was the best running back in football. Is he still good? Yes, but he's not that.
Now look, looking at the contract and just the money that they did have to shell out to put Derrick Henry on this team too, there's definitely a valid case you can make here, as $16 million over 2 years is a considerable amount. It's nothing too crazy, I guess, but it's still a considerable amount. There is one major oversight in Clark's argument though, as he just seems to completely forget that the just complete freak of nature and athletic specimen that Derrick Henry is. The dude reportedly spends 6 figures a season to keep his body in tip-top shape, going above and beyond what his team requires of him. And as we've all seen this season too, he seemed to gel incredibly well with his new outfit, finding a rhythm with fellow Heisman winner Lamar Jackson. The two have had as many post-game interviews after hard-fought wins where they can sing each other's praises. Even according to Lamar, it's a chemistry that largely comes down to their mutual respect and the fact that they share a home state.
What is something that you have learned about Derrick Henry since he became your teammate?
Down to earth. Just a down to earth player. A guy who looked like a monster, like a monster, freakish athlete. But he's a great guy, man. Great guy to be around. And plus, he's from Florida, so I'm just glad to see him on this side of the ball now, in the backfield, in my backfield, and just taking over, They call him King, so I want to see King Henry do what King Henry do.
The Ravens now have emerged as one of the favorites to go all the way in 2024 and possibly get Derrick Henry his first ring, a deserved reward for a remarkable career. He's also shattering stereotypes at age 30, locked in a tight race for the rushing title with Saquon Barkley, who, as we all know, is having a career year himself on a new team. I mean, hell, even Saquon has spoken about the meaning of that for the position and just how remarkable of a feat it is, bringing into question the value of running backs in the NFL.
I love that he's a 30-year-old running back and he's balling. And like I don't get into, I don't pocket watch. Like everybody get your money, get your paper, but there are a lot of people right now that are getting paid a lot more than Derrick Henry. And what are we really talking about?
I mean, not only is this just an inspiring run we're seeing out of Derrick Henry, but might just play a critical role in reshaping the power dynamic in the NFL. Already a legend at the position for the work on the field, Henry has been a big part of a resurgence of elite, well-paid running backs in 2024. But the best way to make a statement would be to win some silverware for the first time in his professional career. And if you want to see how Jahmyr Gibbs went from being an orphan and homeless to being an NFL superstar now, then click this video right here.